Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome. I'm going to invite my other viewers here. Just a moment. Got two broadcasts going here. Flip the camera around on that one. Flip the camera. Oh, sorry. I was there. You all are watching me invite my other viewers. Okay, there we go. Then flip this camera around. Okay, so there we go. So please invite your viewers. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me wherever you're joining me from. Tonight is going to be a short scope, but I wanted to come in. So welcome to all of my live viewers, and welcome to any of my replay viewers. I'm Ramona Jones, a poet, an author, and a life coach. And I coach on relationships, your relationship with yourself, with God, and with others. And tonight's scope, hi Lorna, thanks for joining me. So glad you're here. So tonight's scope is going to be about, thank you, you're beautiful, right back at you. So tonight's scope is going to be an exercise in getting rid of your limiting beliefs. So thank you so much for inviting your viewers, Lorna. And thank you for tweeting it out. I didn't get a chance to tweet it before I sent it. So I got to work on getting my setup together. But anyway, so thank you for joining me again tonight. And this is going to be a short scope. But what I want to share with you is I want to ask you a question. So before we get started, I want you to go and grab your pen and paper, because this is going to be an exercise for you to do. So do you have your pen? Do you have your paper? I'm going to give you a few minutes to go and get that. I'm going to give you a few minutes to go ahead and grab a pen and paper. If you have your pen and paper, can you type in the comments to let me know that you're ready? Let me know that you're ready. You're ready. You're ready. Are you ready? Okay, I don't see your comment, Lorna, so I don't know if you're ready or not. Is everything going kind of slow? Okay, I'm going to assume that you have your pen and your paper and that you're ready. So, thank you for Project Queen. Thank you for joining me, Project Queen. Please invite your viewers. Swipe up if you're on. Thank you for the hearts. I love those green hearts. Thank you for joining me. If you want to invite your viewers, you can swipe up if you are on the Android, or swipe to the right if you are on iOS. So, thank you for joining me. So, if you can, it's your first time on my Periscope. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad that you're here. And thank you for inviting your followers. Thank you so much. So if you can, I need you to go and grab your pen and paper, because this is going to be an exercise. Hey, Jay Mungush, I think that's how you say your name. I'm sorry if I got it wrong, but thank you for joining me. So I need you to grab your pen and paper. So if you have pen and paper ready, let me know. Type in the chat box. Give me a 1 if you're ready with pen and paper. Thank you, Gina McGee. Thank you for joining me. Okay, 1, so you have your pen and paper. Project Queen. So anybody else got their pen and paper? Are you ready? This is going to be a working scope, and it's going to be good. Okay, so I'm going to assume that everybody else has their pen and paper. Okay, so Lorna, you have your pen and paper too. So actually, for those of you who are following me under Life Coach Ramona Jones, would you please follow me at my new handle, which is Ramona Speaks the number 2. So that is RamonaSpeaks and the number 2. That's my new handle. So I'm trying to move everybody over to my new handle, or otherwise I'll continue to be dual scoping. So thank you so much for, pointing me over to the Perry Pimp to go ahead and, follow me. But if you can follow me on the new handle, Ramona Speaks the number 2, RamonaSpeaks and the number 2. So again, my name is Ramona Jones. I'm a life coach and author and a poet. And I scope on relationships, your relationship with yourself, with God, and with others. And just really life, getting your life together. We're in the journey together to get our lives together. And sometimes in life, we have things that hold us back. Do you have a big dream that you've just never seen to step forward in, or to move forward, or to really give it a lot of consideration? Give me a 1 if you have a big dream that you have not moved forward in. Okay, I see that A Jones joined. A Jones 1 joined. Thank you. Hi, Ramona. Hi, Aisha. Coach Aisha, thank you for joining me. So if you have a dream that you have not moved forward in, that you've been afraid to actually launch out into, thank you for sharing with your viewers, Coach. So this is going to be for you, because a lot of times we hide ourselves, and I found that I've been hiding a lot in life, even before I started calling myself a coach. And if you can catch one of my scopes from last week, I talk about call yourself who you are. So for a long time, I never called myself a poet or an author, although I started writing poetry in the 6th grade and I started hearing poetry, but I never felt I was good enough. So I never really called myself a poet, and other people would like my work more than I would like it. And so thank you, Love Day, for joining me. And so I had to get over some limiting beliefs about myself. So I just learned this great exercise. So if you have your pen and paper ready, I want to go ahead and get started. So the first question that I want you to consider and give it a little bit of thought. The question is, what would you do? I want you to finish this statement. One of those things that you would do if you had to get up out of your sleep to do it, and if you never got paid for it, what is one of those things that you would do? So I want you to finish this statement. I am most on fire when? When are you most on fire? So think about that thing that you do. Think about those situations and circumstances that you have just been so alive and you felt so great after you did it. And it was like you didn't even have to get paid for it. So I am most on fire when? When are you most on fire? So write that answer down. And sometimes you may think of several things, but if you can, get one, because I'm kind of wordy. So I had 3 things, and I said, I'm most on fire when I help someone break through a tough place in their life. I'm most on fire when I help them up their game with knowledge or information. I'm most on fire when I help people find and walk in their purpose and gifting. I'm most on fire at those times. You can wake me up out of my sleep and say, I'm going through something, I got a problem, and, I don't know what to do. And I'll wake up wide awake out of my sleep, and began to just minister to your needs, began to speak life, began to give you information, just began to share. So those are times when I'm most on fire. Okay, so hopefully you have your most on fire statement about yourself. Okay, now the next question is, write down one limiting belief or a limiting thought. And a limiting belief or a limiting thought, sometimes we don't know that we have them because it's just the way that we were raised, or it's just the way that we feel like we think. We just feel like it's us. But think of a limiting belief as some thought that comes to your mind that holds you back. Something that has kept you from moving forward in life. When you knew you wanted to do that thing, but then that little voice inside of your head said, oh, no, that's not for you, or I'm not qualified, or I'm not pretty enough, or whatever that was. And try to make it a simple statement. Thank you so much for joining me. Please invite your viewers and swipe up and swipe to the right, depending on which device you're on. Invite your viewers. Again, I'm Ramona Jones. I'm an author, a poet, and a life coach. And I scope on relationships with yourself, with God, and with others. And we're just helping you catch your life like I'm catching mine. We're in this journey together. And so the first statement that I ask you to write, if you don't have pen and paper, please grab pen and paper so you can get caught up with us, is to finish a statement that says, I'm most on fire when. And write down your most on fire statement, that thing that really gets your heart pumping, that makes you feel alive. I'm most on fire when. Okay, and then the second thing I ask you to do is to write down a limiting belief about yourself, a limiting thought, something that has stopped you from achieving something or doing something that you really wanted to do, a goal that you had, a dream that you had, but something stopped you. That little voice inside of your head told you that that wasn't for you, or that you couldn't do it. All of us have those kind of stories. I remember, like I said, when I wanted to be a poet, and I felt like I was a poet, but I didn't feel like I was good enough. So that little voice inside of my head has been saying I'm not good enough. And it's been following me around all of my life. I remember going on a job, and I did actually computer-based training development with multimedia. And so I had learned how to use Macromedia Author at the time. I don't think it's even in use now. But I had learned how to use that tool. But when a big assignment came up, I was like, no, I can't do that. And they were like, why not? You know how to use Author. I said, but I don't know everything about it. They said, you don't have to know everything about it. And this one guy told me, he said, I didn't know anything about how to do CBT, but I took the job and I learned, and they paid me while I learned. And I felt like, because I'm a person of integrity. So I felt like that was just wrong. I can't tell somebody that I know how to do something. They said, well, did you go to school for it? Did you learn it in class? I said, well, yeah, I did it in class, but I haven't actually done it in the real world. So they would say, well, you did it. Just tell people you can do it. And then you learn the rest as you go. So that was a hard thing for me to really learn and to grasp and get a hold of. But now I realize that it's the limiting belief. And so what's your backstory? What are those times in life, even going back to your childhood? I even remember in my childhood, as I was going through this exercise myself, I was trying to figure out what my limiting belief was. And I went through a process where I wrote out more things. Like I said, I'm a writer. So I tend to write, and I'm very reflective, so I tend to write more. But we'll get it down to a statement. So I began to think about, the different things, and this is what I wrote. So I said, one limiting thinking or belief that I had is I don't have enough experience to do something, or I need to know a lot to go after what I want to do or be. I was afraid of not having the right answer since first grade. And I remember before I started school, my sister taught me how to count to 50. My sister Angelia, she taught me how to count to 50. And I thought I was doing good. I went to first grade knowing how to count to 50 because I didn't go to kindergarten. So I just started in the first grade. So I knew how to count to 50. And one day the teacher said, can anybody count to 100? And nobody raised their hands. And I was like, 100? I only know how to count to 50. And this one boy raised his hands and he proceeded to count all the way to 100. I was so mad at my sister. When I got back home from school, I said, why didn't you teach me how to count to 100? The teacher asked and I didn't know the answer. And she just started laughing at me. But we learned how to count to 100 that day. And so I went back to school waiting on the teacher to tell me, or to ask somebody if they knew how to count to 100, because that was going to be me. So I always felt like I needed to know the answer. So therefore, I had a limiting belief that I wasn't qualified. So that's what I got it down to, was to say, I'm not qualified. And I've been disqualifying myself in a lot of areas. Have you? Have you ever disqualified yourself from a position, from a job, from a career path, from anything in life that you really wanted to do? You felt a passion for it. You felt like it was something that you could possibly do, but you disqualified yourself even before you started. Well, let's change that tonight. Are you ready to change it? Give me okay, I see a yes. Okay. So we're going to change it tonight. So do you have your limiting belief? Have you written it down? And if you were wordy like me and had to get the backstory, find a short sentence, something that you can easily remember and easily state. Like I got mine down. I gave you all my backstory, but I got it down to, I'm not qualified. So what's your limiting statement? What's your limiting belief? Okay, do you have that? Now let's change it. And now what I want you to do is I want you to restate that limiting belief in a way that moves you forward. And you may have to play with it a little bit until you get it like you want it, but this is going to be your mantra. This is going to be that statement that you tell yourself every day when you get up in the morning, throughout the day. When you face those situations, you're going to state this over and over again until it becomes your new thinking, until it becomes your new belief system. Are you with me? Okay. So if you have your statements, give me a 2. Give me a 2. If you have your limiting belief. If you have that limiting belief down and you're ready to shift it, put a 2 in the comment box for me. Let me see the 2s. Let me see the 2s. Okay, Lorna. Lorna is ready to shift. Lorna's ready to shift. Okay, who else is ready to shift? Okay. A. Jones, 1. You're ready to shift. Okay. So, okay. Krishada, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, but forgive me for that. Okay, we're ready to shift. Okay, so great. Now, get your new statement. So, Chris. Okay, Chris. Thank you. Thank you, Chris, for giving me your name. So, turn that statement around. Looks like I'm frozen over here on one broadcast, so hopefully it'll unfreeze. I'm freezing over there. Oh, come on, Periscope. Don't freeze on me. That's the first time I've actually been frozen in Periscope. Hate to go out and come back in, but hopefully you all can still hear me. And hopefully I'll be unfrozen over there. Okay, so I shifted my belief to say that I qualify myself for roles and responsibilities that seem beyond me. I qualify myself for roles and responsibilities that seem beyond me. So whenever I come to a situation, Periscope, Periscope is trying to shut down on my other handle. So sorry, people who are on my other handle. Oh, viewers. Okay, I'm going to have to stop and come back in. Oh, it's not letting me stop either. Okay, well, I'm going to keep going for you all. So anyway, that was the way I turned mine around. So did you turn yours around? Did you change your old belief into a new one? So if you have a new belief, put it up for me. Let me see what your new belief is. Okay, Lorna, can you type in your new belief? What's your new belief? Go ahead and type in your new belief for me. And Periscope, I'm sorry, I'm just all in the camera. Sorry, you all. Okay, Periscope shut down on the other phone. So, I don't know what it's doing. It totally shut down. So, let's see. It's trying to come back. I don't know what it's doing. But Lorna, are you typing your new belief in? Okay, so I just invited people to come over to this other scope. Okay, so just to wrap up, again, my name is Ramona Jones. I'm a life coach, a poet, and an author. I have a new book coming out, and so I want you to keep following me and go visit my Facebook page at Ramona Speaks and the number 2, RAMONASPEAKS, the number 2 on Facebook. Visit me on Facebook. I'm going to be posting an event calendar. Thank you for joining me, A. Jones 1. Periscope just died on that other handle, so thank you for coming on over on this new handle. So my new book is going to be coming out on May the 18th, so I'm going to be posting some invites for you to come and join my book cover reveal and my launch party, so stay tuned for that. And I'm just excited about coming out with my second book. My first book is From Tongue to Ear to Heart, So Says the Wise, and it's over 300 sayings that my mother told us in growing up to keep from whipping us. So she gave us a lot of whippings, but you know, for some people, I was a good child, so I didn't get a lot of whippings. So it's a great book of wisdom, and I actually have a copy of it here. Sorry. I just wanted to go and grab this so you can see a copy of my book. I probably need to turn the camera around there so you can see it. From Tongue to Ear to Heart, So Says the Wise, by me, Ramona. Yes. So turn the camera back around. So yeah, that was my first book that I self-published. And so I have another book coming out, and that book is more about finding your voice and stop hiding and stop playing small. So that's what the second book is going to be about. And I plan to do more writing because that's another thing that I was hiding from and playing small in. It's not really stepping into my gifting and afraid to let go of what I had, you know, a job that I had. And until I got displaced. And so it was like the universe telling me, okay, this is your opportunity to go for it. You know, this is your year of jubilee. So it's time for you to live your dream. If not now, when? If not me, who? If not you, who? You know, so it's up to you to follow your dreams. And I hope this exercise that we did with number 1, you finishing the statement, I'm most on fire when. And then you writing down one limiting belief that you want to work on. That thing that has stopped you from achieving that dream that was in your belly. Or that brilliant idea that you had. Those places that you've disqualified yourself. And you knew you really belonged, but you just disqualified yourself. Thank you, Love Day, for coming back in. So we were just kind of wrapping up here. And so, and then finally turning that around. Changing the old belief to a new belief, one that moves you forward. So for instance, my limiting belief was, I'm not qualified. So I turned it around to say, I qualify myself for roles and responsibilities that seem beyond me. I qualify myself for roles and responsibilities that seem beyond me. Thank you, Lorna, for asking for those hearts. Thank you so much. And so hopefully, if you've turned around your unbelief, can you type it in? I would love to see what some of your new beliefs are. If you switched from your old belief to a new belief, I want you to type it in. Let me see. Let me see what you're believing, so I can pray with you and believe with you that you can change that mindset. And this is something that you'll tell yourself every day. Okay, you sent it. I didn't see it on the screen. Can you resend it? I'm sorry, I didn't see it. I was probably trying to get my people back on the other old handle. So if you are following me under Life Coach Ramona Jones, please start following me under Ramona Speaks, the number 2. That's RamonaSpeaks and the number 2. And you can follow me on Facebook as well. I'm going to be making some announcements there and really building out that site. So again, hopefully, I would love to see some of your new beliefs that you're going to be practicing. And remember, this is something that you're going to type it out. Okay, I am financially equipped to do all God has intended for my life. All right, then. So you must have got rid of that poverty mindset. All right. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I touch and agree with you that you are financially fit, financially set, financially prosperous to do everything that God has for you. And if he called you to it, girl, he's already laid out the provisions for you. So I decree and declare that you will come into your prosperous place because you are on your path to do what God has called you to do. I thought I was limited because of my income. Oh, so you thought you were limited because of your income. Okay, so you turned it around to take those limitations off. I love it. No, you are not limited because of your income, because God will provide you with all the provisions that you need to do what he has called you to do. He wouldn't call you to it if he wouldn't provide the provisions. And he's like a good shepherd. And the shepherd goes out before the sheep and make sure that the path is straight and there's no rocks or nothing that could harm the sheep. So if Jesus is going before you and he called you into a place, he's going to prepare it for you. He's going to prepare the table before you. He's going to have kings pour into your bosom. He's going to provide to you. You know, back in Egypt when the plagues were hitting Egypt, the children of Israel lived in the land of Goshen, where there was plenty. The plagues weren't hitting them. So we have to break free of our limiting beliefs. And that's what this exercise was all about. It's finding out what we are definitely passionate about, that thing that we've been called to do. And then to point out what's stopping you. What's holding you back? What's making you small in your own eyes? And then turn it around. Because we can have what we say. There's power in your words. Your words can either kill or build. So what are your words doing for you in your life? Are they killing your dreams? Are they killing your relationships? Are they killing you? Or are they building you? Are they building people? Are they building nations? You're great because God made you to be. Everything that God made, he said it was good. And when he got to man, he said it was very good. So I hope you've gotten something out of this scope tonight. I trust that you will take this exercise with you and start tackling other limiting beliefs. You don't have to start, you can start with the one, but you don't have to end with the one. Tackle every giant that's before you. Tackle every mountain that's before you. And begin to speak to those mountains to move them. And this is one way that you can move that mountain. This is one way to speak to your mountains. Not just saying, move mountain. What is the mountain? Begin to change those old belief systems, those old ways of thinking, that's thinking to fresh, brilliant, life-giving, life-breathing words that will propel you forward, because you're not tied to your past. Your past is the past. It doesn't define you. God is talking to you tonight about your future, about where you're going. So you can't look at what you have in your hands right now. You can't look at where you've been. He's calling you forward. And if he called you to it, he'll provide for you. So again, this has been Ramona Jones, poet, life coach, and author. Scoping on relationships with yourself, with God, and with others, so we can catch our lives and be all that God created us to be. Thank you for joining me so much. Thank you, replay viewers, everyone who will see this at whatever time you see it. I trust that you were blessed by it. May God forever richly bless you and keep you. Have a good night. I love you. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Oh, you're welcome, Lorna. It was my pleasure. This makes me fired up. When I say what puts me on fire, this puts me on fire. All right. Well, thank you so much again for joining me. It has been my pleasure to serve you. And I'm serving you in my mess while I build my message. I'm serving you in the journey because we're in it together. We're going for everything that God has for us. I'm getting mine. Are you getting yours? Let's go get it. Let's go get it. Let's get it. Let's go get it. Get it. Let's go get it. Possess your possessions. Let's go get it. Possess your possessions. It's the year of Jubilee. A year for you to be free. And I know I'm not a real singer, but that song just came to my soul, so I want to share it. Oh, oh, oh. Good night.